Welcome back to another episode of Just Mental. I'm Kendall, your host. And today there's been something on my mind for a while, and I don't think I'm alone in feeling this way, which is why I wanted to make an episode talking about it. Now, recently, actually I shouldn't say recently, just today even, and throughout the course of this weekend and the previous week, I've been waking up with this sinking feeling that I am a failure, that I am not doing enough, etc., etc., etc. And the type of mindset that I have right now has just not been the healthiest. Let's put it that way. I think I can strongly say this and I can confidently say this, but I have such big dreams for my life and for who I want to be and for the things that I want to do, that a lot of the times I get wrapped up in not being there already. And this episode and this topic kind of ties in pretty closely to the last solo episode that I did on like this idea of success and wealth and what being rich actually means. And I wanted to kind of piggyback on that conversation because after filming that episode and after talking about those things in a little bit more detail, it really got me thinking about some other stuff. And, social media is this big black hole, and I spend way too much time on it. I actually just got my weekly screen time averages back, and it was like basically 8 hours a day, which is not good at all. Anyways, what I was saying is that the episode that we did recently talking about success and wealth and richness, I just have spent the last week really thinking about that. And to put into perspective for you, I don't work for anyone else. I am self-employed, and right now I am very procrastinatingly working on getting my taxes done from the previous year. I do a lot of contract work. And I feel like there is this immense amount of pressure on myself every single time I get up and I go to work in order to make these huge changes in my life that are going to see some sort of revelation in my life that's going to make me either richer or happier or whatever it's going to be. And I know that I'm not the only one going through this. Actually, a lot of people on TikTok, I have seen videos. And it's very easy, obviously, with the algorithm to get wrapped up in the same type of content. So say you watch two videos where someone says, oh my gosh, I'm 22, I'm struggling, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. TikTok's going to show you about 25 to 40 more of those videos. And you're going to feel even less like you're the only one that's struggling. But when you're in the depth of it, when you're not on social media and when you're just sitting with yourself, let's be honest, you feel like you're alone. You feel completely alone. And it's a really hard place to be in because nobody can drag you out of that. It's a mindset and it's a mental place that you had put yourself in by putting this insane amount of pressure on yourself and by looking outward at what everyone else is doing and not feeling like you're doing enough. One thing that really changed my perspective this week or really put things into focus for me, I listen to podcasts a lot myself. Huge fan of Diary of a CEO, huge fan of a couple others that are just fantastic things that I like to listen to when I'm on my way to the gym or I'm in the gym or I'm just driving, period. And the guest on Diary of a CEO in the episode that I was listening to was Alex Harmonzi. I really hope I'm saying that right. You guys know who I'm talking about. He is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, amazing and fantastic role model for someone who is also looking to make a lot of money. Now, they brought up this interesting concept and something that I, to be honest, don't really like to talk about, but for the sake of, getting on the same page as everyone here, I'm going to bring it up. Alex mentioned that he thinks about death a lot. And this is probably not where you think I'm going with this, but it got me thinking. It's really freaking cliche for me to say this, and I hate to be that person that says cliche shit. But you could literally die tomorrow. You could. I'm not saying you're going to, but you could. And up until this point, nothing that you have done or said or did will have mattered once you were gone. I think a lot of the times we get wrapped up in feeling like we're not doing enough or feeling like we're missing out on stuff or not doing something because we want to do something else. And it's great to have goals and it's great to have passion and it's great to have all of those things. What's not so great is feeling this empty abyss of purposeless life. And that is literally what I've been feeling every single day for the last probably 2 weeks. Trying to find passion, trying to find purpose in every single thing that I do. It's freaking hard. And when you have the internet and when you have social media and you have people that you're looking at every single day with this beautiful and expensive looking life, like I think we have a really bad idea of what entrepreneurship actually looks like from behind the scenes, because nobody's going to show you that part of it on social media. Nobody's going to show you that they're working 25 hours a day on a business that two months ago they thought was going to fail. The emotional pressure, the stress of running something like that. Nobody ever shares that on social media. And if they are, kudos to you because you are setting a realistic example. But the whole point in what I'm saying here is that we consume content all the time that, if you're not careful, is going to put you in an extremely bad state of comparison. And when I was younger, I went to a basketball camp, and one of the quotes that stuck with me the most, something that I refer to unanimously throughout my life and have kept in the back of my mind ever since I heard it, is comparison is the thief of all joy. And what exactly does that mean? You comparing yourself to Lauren or Becky on the internet that has 50,000 followers, runs a successful business at 22, is making millions of dollars, is jet setting across the world. Mind you, this is social media. So just keep that in mind. You comparing yourself to them is stealing every bit of joy out of your life. It's sucking it out of your life. And I know because from personal experience, I have been that person that has sat in my bed or at a kitchen table or at dinner with my family and my friends, scrolling through Instagram, trying to come up with some kind of way that I'm going to be exactly like those people. Or why am I not like those people yet? Comparison is the thief of all joy. And I'll say that again louder for the people in the back. If you spend your entire life comparing your life to someone else's, the only thing that you will get from that is a feeling of despair. And that is a feeling that nobody wants to have. Again, I'm going to be a little bit cliche here, but we've seen how just because you are not a millionaire at 22 years old, like everyone else that you're seeing drop shipping, whatever on the internet, does not mean that you will not be successful in your life. It does not mean that you are not it does not mean that you're unsuccessful in your life right now. All it means is that that person did something before you did. And I think the important conversation that I want to have, and something that I'm saying also as a reminder to myself, because I have been falling victim to this so badly in the past couple of weeks, is that you can't compare your starting point to someone else's end point. And I want to bring you back down to earth for a second here. You have no idea. You have no idea the circumstances to which someone else has achieved something. You have no idea the work that they've put into that. And that's not to say that you're not working hard to do the exact same thing. But we have a really bad habit of going on social media, and I say we, but I'm literally referring to myself. It feels like I'm having a conversation with me right now, and I'm trying to center myself because this is something that I truly do need to work on. When I go on Instagram and I see all of this amazing stuff that's happening around me, or I listen to a podcast and this person is 22 and they own a business and they're making millions of dollars and they're traveling around the world, it hits you a little bit. Holy shit, that person's 22 and they're doing all of that. I'm almost 23. What the? am I doing with my life? That is something that goes through my head on a regular basis, to the point where it has literally made me sick. And it's such a tough conversation because on one hand, you have society that is prioritizing and promoting hustle culture, not sleeping for more than 4 hours a night, picking up 2 to 3 jobs to fulfill your purpose. I don't think that you have to do any of that stuff. I also don't think that you have to compare yourself to somebody else, but it feels like you do. And I don't even want to say it feels like you do. You are doing that. Because so much of the marketing nowadays for all of these companies and for trying to get you to try these side hustles or buy these courses is geared at making you hate your life so much that you're willing to pay $5,000 to learn something that debatably you could find for free on the internet. And at the end of the day, it's just marketing. Do these people actually own these cars? Maybe, maybe not. But this is a conversation that I feel not a lot of people want to have, because it really opens up a bigger question as to, why do you feel unfulfilled in your life? Is money really going to make you happy? Are you dealing with external factors that make you feel like you're constantly having to prove yourself over and over and over again? That's a big worry for me, that I'm going to reach a huge milestone, one of the things that I've written down as one of my goals for 2023, and it's not going to be enough. Because I think when you consistently compare yourself to other people, nothing ever will be enough. Now, I want to go back to that podcast episode that I referenced earlier, the one with Alex and Diary of a CEO. Alex obviously is extremely successful. He didn't start that way. He came from a very humble beginning. His story is actually incredible. If you wanted to go listen to that, I highly suggest that you do. But again, one of the things that they talk about is death, and the idea of death and the comfort around death. And another point that they bring up is we have this problem with making ourselves feel like what we are going through or the things that we're experiencing are the worst things to possibly experience in the entire world, or that we are the center of our universe. We are the center of the universe. Now, I don't really talk about this stuff. I don't really like thinking about it because, to be honest with you, death fucking scares me. And I haven't quite figured out why that is. Maybe it's the idea that I don't know when it's going to happen. And as somebody who likes to know everything, I don't like, how much time do I have left? Do I have the time to achieve the things that I want to achieve? Why have I not done more with my life? All of those questions that someone would ask themselves if they knew that their time was coming to an end. We all know we're going to die. Nobody lives forever. And that is an extremely morbid but true fact. Again, something I don't like to acknowledge or talk about because death scares me. Getting older scares me. But I think it's also a very important reminder that you only get one life. And whatever time you do get here, you shouldn't be spending that focused on someone else or focusing your energy on comparing yourself to somebody else. There's that old quote, it's like, you just stay in your lane and everything will be okay. Just stay in your lane. Easier said than done, in my opinion. I don't think a lot of people understand that how easy it is to get sucked into that hole of comparison and self-doubt. And if I could count on one hand, or if I got $1 even for every time that I said to myself, Kendall, you are a failure, you don't do enough, you're not doing enough, I would be rich. I would be literally rich, but that is not the way that the world works. And trust me, I wish it was, because I think everybody in the world would probably have millions of dollars if that was the case. But the people who have truly made a difference in the world, the people who have truly achieved success against all odds, have done one thing very, very well, and that is shifting their mindset. And I think the reason why I bring up this whole death conversation is because if you can put into perspective your life in contrast to the entire universe, how big it is, how vast, how expansive, how you can't even comprehend how many people are on planet Earth. Billions of people. A billion is a huge number. And there is an analogy that I could use to try to explain the difference, but I forget what it is. And if I find it, I will be sure to let you guys know. But basically, you're talking about in reference to time. Let's say you have 1,000,000 seconds. That's like 30 minutes. If you have 1,000,000,000 seconds, it's like 30 days. Now, don't quote me on that. I might be a little bit off or very far off. But that, I just say that to illustrate to you that, you know, perception and perspective is everything. It literally is everything. I think I listened to somebody and they were talking about how the average income for somebody in their 20s, let's say early 20s, I'm 22, almost 23, is like 30-some thousand dollars a year. That's based on like majority of people in Canada. Now, when I heard that number, I'm like, that seems a little bit far off. Bear with me on this. I'm getting a little bit distracted. But I think we forget so much of the time that there are other things happening around us, that we are not the center of our own universes. And trust me, I will be the first person to tell you to tune out all of that other shit and to just focus on yourself, because to be honest with you, nobody's going to care about your goals the way that you do. Nobody's going to care about your dreams the way that you do. Nobody's going to care about the work that you put in the way that you do. But I think it also is valuable to understand where you are in the grand scheme of things. And I don't say any of this to scare you, but it's something that I have to personally do every single day in order to ground myself so that I don't fall off the deep end, mentally, physically, whatever, emotionally. Because if I sat with myself in the current mind that I am in for majority of the day, I would probably be going insane. And our society does a very good job of making you feel like you are not good enough for doing what is above average, even. I really just wanted to come on here and make a commitment. Make a commitment to myself, make a commitment to everybody that listens to this podcast, even though there's like 10 or 15 people, that's it. I don't care. Me saying this out loud and me committing to doing this is the first step in order for me to actually get where I want to go. Now, I have always had a problem with overindulging myself in work and not being able to separate my work and my personal life. And I'm sure you've heard it before. When you have a business, you can't really do that. I disagree. I think that in order for you to be happy and healthy and for you to be the most successful version of yourself, you have to take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself is not running on $6 lattes, not eating any food, and not getting enough sleep. We know what that does to a person. That's not healthy. It's not going to bring out the best components of you. And I'm sitting here making this commitment because I feel like I've fallen off the wagon a little bit. I feel like I have slipped back into very toxic behaviors that have caused me not to get enough sleep. I still am eating enough, but boy, is my mind just a mess right now. If my average screen time per day was not enough of an indicator of how often I find myself comparing my life to other people, then I don't know what is. And it was a really rude awakening into the fact that a lot of the times I don't really take care of myself. I say that I do, but I don't. And I was on TikTok. Sounds like a pretty dumb thing to say after what I just said, but I was on TikTok. I saw this video and it was a girl basically saying what her non-negotiables were: taking care of herself every single day. Kudos to you if you made a video like that, because I think more people need to see this. But one thing that she talks about, and this isn't the first time I've heard this either, because I had a consultation with a therapist over the phone. It was like a meet and greet conversation. And one of the first things that she said to me was the exact same thing, which was you need to get outside first thing in the morning. The second that you wake up, don't touch your freaking phone. Throw that shit to the side. Get out of bed, go outside and sit out there or walk around for 10 to 35 minutes. Fresh air is the most underrated form of self-care that you could give yourself. And you want to know what the best part is? It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just get outside. Get outside first thing in the morning before you touch your phone, before you check your Instagram. And trust me, as someone who's addicted to their phone, this has been very hard. But I am committing myself to doing this because I know it will make a difference. Vitamin D, very important. And regardless of if you take supplements or you vitamins, whatever you do, there is nothing quite like just getting outside and experiencing vitamin D, vitamin C, straight from the source itself. Another non-negotiable, getting enough sleep. Throwing my phone probably to the other side of the house when I go to bed, because that way then I won't touch it. I'm gonna have to do another episode on this, but the effects of blue light and what's sitting in front of a computer and constantly staring at a screen all day will do to you is you don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. If you're an expert in that category, let me know. I'd love to have you on here to talk about it. But that's non-negotiable number 2. Let's just huck the phone across the house, leave it over there for 2 hours before I go to bed. I can read a book or something. Does anybody ever read? Not really. Do I read? No, I haven't really read. But I'm going to make a commitment to myself to start reading because it's way healthier for my mind, for my soul, for my brain to be doing that instead of checking Instagram for the 57th time that day. Non-negotiable number 3 for me is probably the hardest one, and that is drinking enough water. Everyone says it. Nobody does it. And yet the people who are actually drinking enough water and who actually make a commitment to do this better every single day are experiencing massive health benefits. Mental clarity. We could all use some of that, I think, especially me. Some days I wake up and I'm like, damn, I just can't do this today. Have a glass of water, you feel better. It's not like a coffee. It's not like a coffee. All of this was to say, besides making the commitment to myself and anyone who watches this video, even if it's just one person, is that nobody's going to care about what you do except for you. And with that in mind, you have to take it upon yourself to make the changes in order to see the healthiest, happiest version of yourself. Regardless of whether or not I'm going through a midlife crisis at 23 years old, does not matter right now. Because part of the reason why that I feel like that is happening is because I've literally allowed my joy, the joy and the happiness in my life to be sucked away by external people who literally don't even know I exist. They literally don't even know I exist. A lot of things don't know I exist. And yet I put so much pressure on myself to live that way or to feel that way. And it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I want to end this episode by basically challenging you guys to do something similar. Write down your 3 non-negotiables based on how you feel right now and where you want to go in your life. Write down your 3 biggest goals for 2023 and for the rest of it, because we're already almost halfway through this year, that's mind-blowing. We're almost halfway through 2023. So sit with that. Think about that. How does that make you feel? But don't let it get you down. You can look at it as the glass is half full or the glass is half empty. Change your perspective. Get new perspective. And your life is going to change. Your life is going to change the second that you get a new perspective on the way that things should be. Because regardless of how you look at life, perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. Mindset is everything. Change your mindset, change your life.